Good afternoon and welcome back to 120th. Film is getting pretty pricey, right? And none more so than large format film. Price is quite similar across the pond in dollars and pounds. A box of Ilford FP4 will now set you back about 50 or 60 pounds or dollars for 25 sheets. Works out about $2.20 per sheet. The absolute cheapest 4x5 sheet film, which is readily available, is Foto 100, which will set you back about 90 cents per sheet. If you want to print out of it and you send it away for outside development, then you're starting to get into kind of $9 to $12/pounds per sheet to get yourself development plus a digital print of your 4x5 negative. What if I told you that instead of $12/pounds, you could get 4x5 print in your hand that you've made for 25 cents all in, 25 pence, a quarter. This is real. You need to watch this. So we are talking about black and white paper reversal, not direct positive paper, not paper negatives. That is a thing, people do that, but paper reversal, where we take a negative image on a bit of photographic paper and using some chemical wizardry, we reverse it to create a positive image. The cheapest paper, photographic paper I could find is probably Kentmere, and that works out at about £70 for 100 sheets of 8x10. Obviously an 8x10 sheet will cut down to 4 sheets of 4x5 roughly. So you're looking at £70 for 400 sheets of 4x5, which in turn works out to about 17 pence per sheet. I've made some assumptions on the cost of the chemistry that you'll need to give you about an average of 25 pence per sheet of 4x5 to give you a photograph in your hand. What I've been sent is a test kit from Bellini and Stenopeika, my wonderful friend Samuele at Stenopeika. They've been collaborating to create this black and white paper reversal kit. They have actually now launched this kit, although I can't see where you can buy it just yet, but obviously they've announced it on Bellini's social media channels, and therefore it will be available pretty soon. So the kit basically consists of a standard paper developer, Bellini D100, which has been out for a little while, a bleach, which is a potassium permanganate bleach, then there is a clarifier bath, and then there is a standard fixer. Here's how it works. Photographic paper essentially works exactly the same as photographic film. In other words, it is reactive to light. So bright lights onto the paper cause dark patches where the chemistry on the paper is reacting with the light. So where you project light onto the paper, whites are black, blacks are white. Standard negative image, inverted image. Let's imagine that we are going to take a picture of a perfectly white figure on a perfectly black background. Our whole sheet of photographic paper has photosensitive chemicals on it, which I'm going to show here in pink. When you expose them to an image, the light bits will react, giving you what's called a latent image. So the red bits are where the photosensitive chemicals have reacted. The pink bits are where they haven't reacted because they haven't been exposed to light yet. We put this sheet into our developer, and the developer reacts with the bits of the paper that have reacted with the light, turning the silver halides that are in the paper into metallic silver. So the bits that have been exposed to light go black. This is where we would usually put our sheet into the fixer, and the fixer would dissolve away the unreacted chemicals. It would dissolve away the remaining unreacted silver halides, leaving you with a negative image on plain paper. With this reversal process, under safe lights, after developing, we're going to put the developed but not fixed sheet into a bleach bath, a potassium permanganate bleach bath. That bleach bath is going to dissolve away only the metallic silver, and it's going to leave the unreacted crystals unaffected. So what we end up with is blank paper where there was an image and unreacted chemicals where there wasn't. Now we're going to take it out of the bleach, we're going to give it a wash, and then we're going to expose it to the light again. And what we're going to get now is all of those unreacted chemicals are now going to react with the light. But of course nothing happening where the figure is because there's no chemicals left there. So all the remaining chemicals react with the light. We then put it back into the developer again, and this new latent image now emerges in metallic silver and turns black. We then take it out of there, put it in the wash, put it into the fixer to make sure that no further reaction happens, and we are left with a positive image, exactly the image that we took the photo of in the first place. That's the theory. Of course, what we're never doing in black and white photography is taking photos of pure black and pure white, right? Most black and white photos are a million different shades of grey. That's what we're working with. But of course, those million different shades of grey are made up of tiny, tiny crystals, microscopic crystals of black or white. And what this reversal process is going to do, hopefully, is give us just the opposite crystals. That is more than enough theory. Let's go and load some papers into some sheet holders. Right, then we're out in the darkroom. I have sacrificed a sheet of paper to the job of measuring. In theory, this is 8 by 10 and we're looking for 4 by 5. So it should be a straight, cut it in half again. So the paper is 25.4 centimeters long. So it would be 12.7. Let's pin that down. And then let's have a look. That is perfectly in half. So the paper is a fraction longer. Okay, let's now do, so it is 20.3, so looking at 10.15 basically in width. Pin it there. And let's see how this compares. So it's a fraction longer and a fraction wider. But let's see if it fits in a film holder. Nothing in it, which is always good. This is going to go in like... And exactly as you would predict, simply cutting the 8 by 10 paper in half does not give you the right dimensions for 4 by 5 sheets. That would be too easy, right? So I did it all by eye, kind of guesstimating this time round, but this is definitely something I could get better at, and I can get some more precise measurements for exactly how big these pieces of paper need to be. All right, we have loaded the sheets of paper. Let's go out and take some photos. Right then, we're out to test these sheets, which we loaded yesterday. We've got the wonderful Rob with us again. I've just done a shoot with Rob, testing lomography films, which I'm not sure we got before or after this video. So this is either Rob, who you've met before, or Rob also appears in my test of some lomography films, which is coming up soon. So if you're not currently subscribed, please do subscribe. But today, Rob is going to help us with testing these, this process, this black and white reversal process. So we've got the Stenopeika 4x5 with the sheet holders. We've got the Bellini 8.5 inch f4.5. I'm going to mostly just do some fairly tight portraits of Rob today. Don't know how this process is going to turn out, so we'll try a few things. I'm going to start off shooting this paper at ISO 4. No, 3. I'm going to start with 3. No shutter on the Bellini, so I'm going to be using something to cover that lens, not Simon Forster's lovely orange lens caps, because that is not going to keep the light out. They are a bit translucent. So let's get set up and let's try this. All right, we're in good shape. Go with half a second at f4.5. All right, lens cap is on, dark slide is coming out. We're going with half a second, or as close as I can get to it. Here it comes. Rob, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Out comes the dark slide. Here it comes. Rob, you ready? 3, 2, 1. That's roughly 4 seconds. Ooh. Wow. Oh. Hang on 1 second. Do you know what I think has happened here? Oh, so I obviously didn't get that paper in the holder properly, and that has popped out. So that's dead. I'll take that one home with us. Okay, let's come in nice and tight. Here's the shutter. Are you comfortable? Here it comes. All right, out comes the dark slide. And 3, 2, 1, go. 2, 3. 4 and a bit. Close. Right, we're done. So let's take those back, and I'm going to start processing those with this black and white reversal process. Who knows how they're going to come out, but Rob, thank you very much, mate, superstar. No problem. Hopefully I'll see you again. Right then, we're out in the darkroom, and we are ready to start developing these things. We're going to take the sheets out of the sheet holders there, under safe light, of course. Put it into the dev, out of there into the wash, still under safe light, out of the wash into the bleach. Then we go back into the wash. Then we're going over here to the clarifier, into the wash for another minute. Then we turn the room lights on until we start to see an image. Then we put it back into the developer for a second time, and we develop by inspection. And then once we're finished in there, then we're into the fixer. Got it? Just give it a go. Into the dev. There's an image coming up very quickly on this. So I'm gonna take that out of there now. Okay, and that goes into the wash. It's a very contrasty image, which I'm not sure is the best for this process, but in it goes, into the bleach. Okay, so there it is, image gone. I'm going to do the clarifier for a minute. I don't really know what this does. I don't know why I'm whispering, I feel like I should whisper. I don't know what this does, but it's in the clarifier now. So keep going until you catch a glimpse of your image emerging. Just give that another couple of seconds. There, look, can you see it? Just there. And chuck it into the developer again, and then develop. Oh, wow, that's coming out so fast. Holy shit. How about that? Maybe I should have pulled that out earlier actually. Then into the fixer. Oh. So I think there's a couple of things that could have happened there. Number one is I'm pretty sure the shot was underexposed to start with, because there was barely anything on that piece of paper when it went through the first development. However, I think I did leave it in the second developer a little bit too long. Just everything happened so fast. I think we can safely save ourselves a bit of time at bin that. But I think we've learned some valuable lessons there. So let's go dark again and go again. This one looks more interesting. There's definitely more on it. Right, that's 3, that'll do. And let's put it in the wash. This is what it looks like at the moment. And chuck it into the bleach. There you go, that's what we got now. Blank sheet of paper. Right, into the clarifier. Out it comes, completely clear. Let's get it nice and close to the light. Oh, I think I'm starting to see an image. You see it? Yeah, right. Into the developer. Now, let's see if we can control this a bit better this time. Oh, it's looking good. Out. Oh. Okay, all right. That's pretty cool. I would obviously get used to this whole process as well. You know, I'd know what I was doing, but it's nice. There's something kind of organic about it. There's something a bit similar to the whole wet play thing. Obviously, nothing like it as far as taking the photograph is concerned, but there's a lot more development by inspection and watching for things to start changing and then going, go, stop, go, where? Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's very, very contrasty. Obviously, Rob's face is blown out. Is that a function of me and what I did? I think this is the only issue with this kind of thing, is that you introduce variables at so many stages. It's pretty cool though. I did 8 sheets in this first batch with mixed success, but plenty of opportunities to learn more about how to make this work, and the occasional nice image in there. Right then, this is the last one. So, let's see if we can get it right. Oh, yeah. Into the developer. And stop. Not bad. I think that might be the best one of them. Okay. All right, so how did we get on there? Some interesting results for sure. Lots of contrast, controlling that. I mean, so obviously one easy way of controlling contrast is to take less contrasty pictures. As we found with the dry plate tintypes, super close-ups of faces work well because the actual difference in exposure values between one side of the face versus the other side of the face is nowhere near as big as, for example, a person against a dark background. So this is something that we could definitely work with for sure. And I quite like that. It's quite a nice image. Now, where we have whipped that out of the developer super quickly, obviously we're getting this kind of milky effect to the blacks. So the recommendation for the paper developer bath, the D100, is to have it very strong, 1+4 instead of the recommended 1+9 for standard paper development, and to have it warm. So instead of 20 degrees, they recommend 24, 25 degrees. And what that does is, of course, makes it react very quickly. And so as we were seeing with that, I was putting the paper in for the second development, and it was just going boom. So as far as developing by inspection, it's almost impossible. And it does also mean that we're getting these swirls. Essentially, it's reacting so fast that you put it into the developer, and the movement of the developer across the paper is staying, and it's kind of staining your sheets. Because you're getting you're essentially getting incomplete development in various parts of this. I mean, you know, it's a look. It wasn't quite what I was going for, but you can see here these swirls. These are all things that one could argue that you could work with and you could create some wonderful effects from. Now this one would appear to be overexposed. We've got no highlight detail in there. You know, his face is just pure white. I certainly think that kind of portraits against a dark background is going to be difficult for this process. I think we need a flatter light. We need flatter images basically to really show this off. And that is going to be difficult with portraits for sure. But listen, we've learned a lot in that first pass. Let's go out and take some more photos and do it again. See how we get on. See if we make any progress. See you out there. Right then, we're back out with the Stenopeika. I have loaded 16 sheets of paper. Figured out a really good way of doing that in the darkroom. We'll share that with you in a bit. We have the lovely Beck with us. Hello. You may have already met Beck on another video. If not, then you're going to. So if you're not currently subscribed, then do subscribe, because I think Beck's video might be coming up next. It's a bit sunnier than I'd hoped for, actually. I was hoping for a slightly flatter light. We had all those problems with contrast on when I did the last shots with Rob. So I was hoping for some slightly flatter images. We might move over into the shade over there and to kind of hide amongst the trees a little bit, just to try and flatten out these images. So today I have the Schneider 210 lens on the Stenopeika 4x5 for consistency, basically. Obviously, there's so many variables in this process that I need to keep something consistent. I need to know that one of them is fixed and that one of them is working. So we'll keep the Schneider lens on for the duration of this, for all 16 frames with Beck. So F9 for 1 second. All right, we might as well just do that while we're here, and then maybe we'll move somewhere else. And that is metering. That's rating the paper at ISO 3, which is what's recommended. Dark slide out. Here it comes. Looking straight down the lens. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Right, I do want to get into some flatter light, but also what I don't want to do is put you on a dark background. Let's go that way. Let's go that way. It's not the clean background that we had before. It's you know, it's not nature. But what I'm hoping is that we're not going to get too much contrast. So it's a nice flat light now. The sun has disappeared. Find some fairly thick clouds. Probably means we've got about 5 minutes before it starts raining. All right, here comes the first one. Looking straight to the lens, here it comes, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that piece of paper has just come out of the holder inside the camera, so, yeah. All right, so let's cock that shutter again. Same again, please, dark side out. 3, 2, 1. Great, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful, thank you very much. Dark slide back in. Right then, we are all finished. Beck, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being patient with me. So I lost 4 sheets to dark slides going back in and pushing them out, which is a bit of a pain in the arse, but that means we will have 12 usable, which is terrific. So hopefully I'll be able to get those right in the darkroom. Beck, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Really, really lovely day. Thank you.
All right, cool. I'll put links for Beck down below. She's on Purple Port and is an amazing model and a great person. So go look her up. Okay, another set of sheets ready. Let's head back into the darkroom and run it again. I'm going to take a slightly different approach this time. I'm going to have an extra bath, and that's going to be another developer bath, but this time at normal concentrations. In here, I will have the D100, 1+4 and at 24 degrees. And that obviously, when we go to develop the final sheet, is causing mayhem. It's causing it to develop so fast that I can't control it. So I'm going to try with another bath. This one is a D100 at 1+9. Which is the recommended dilution for normal paper developing. So that's the plan. We've got all the sheets we shot with Beck, and we'll get started. All right. Into the developer, and so here it comes. Room light going on. Everything else is safe, isn't it? Yeah. Room light going on, and paper out of there, and then watch for an image. And then of course, when this image does appear, I'm starting to see it already. So then we're going into the 1+9 developer, which hopefully should react a little slower. That's a bit easier to control, isn't it? Okay. Alright, let's pull it out of there now, I'd say. That is definitely easier to control. That's a good idea, I think. Not bad, huh? Let's get it into the fixer and make sure that it's fully kind of done and dusted. What happens if I develop for less time, i.e. I'd let it develop less in the first development? Let's try it. So the next one we're going to try, do you know what, for the next one I'm going to move into the 1+9 on the D100. So we'll slow down to both stages of development. Let's see what happens there. Straight into the developer. Yeah. Let's try it. So there we go. That's done in there. Well, let's wash. So that was about what was that? That was about a minute in there. No, maybe 45 seconds, something like that. Right then, let's turn the main lights back on. Oh God. And let's take that out of the wash and re-expose. Anything yet? I've got the wrong side. Not seeing any image really coming out on there. Where am I? Is it starting to come now? Okay, let's chuck it into the dev anyway. I think it's just starting to come out. What's going on here? That is what happens if you don't develop for 3 minutes. Let's go back to the original and let's try and control all this with the other steps. So here we go. Right then, so a couple of issues with that bunch of photos. I was rushing, I was trying to rattle them off because I've basically run out of time with Beck. So we've got a lot of images that are out of focus, and that does make it slightly more difficult to decide on, you know, how good or bad your development is. There's no doubt my idea of less time in the first developer bath was not a good idea. That didn't work. So essentially what we're saying is that in order for this to work, we have to have complete development on the first step, or as complete as we can get. And we then need to remove all of that complete development. Going back to this one. Now obviously we have no highlight detail in his face, But had I allowed the second development to carry on a little bit longer, it might be that some highlight detail would have appeared. Of course, extended development in the second bath and the image gets darker, gets overall darker. But here, his clothes are bang on, that's exactly right, but his face is not. And I mean, I suppose in theory you could dodge and burn when re-exposing, but we're getting pretty complicated here. Going into those second ones though, so we got a few there. This one, obviously I whipped out of the second developer very quickly, and you can tell that we've got incomplete blacks. However, her face is looking great. That's, you know, tonally, that face is kind of in the right sort of ballpark. Let's find one where we have completed blacks here. But her face then is quite high contrast. These ones, this is quite a nice one and definitely an interesting one to talk about, where Beck's face is, I would suggest, overexposed, but we have allowed the second development to go further, so we have more complete blacks, but then we also have a lot of contrast. So I wonder if, had I originally exposed it for slightly less time, and the overall picture would have been darker. Long story short, I think this is a contrasty process. One thing that you can do is pre-flash your paper, where you essentially expose the entire sheet to a flat white light before you do your main exposure. But what that's going to do is essentially make the whites a teeny bit grey. So I don't know, then also, I mean, we look at this image and, you know, is the contrast that bad? I quite like it. What you do also, as I've talked quite a lot in recent videos, you do have to adapt your plans to make allowances for the process that you're using. So that's also something. You know, conditions, all of these things, whatever. This one, I've obviously underexposed, but a very similar thing that we're seeing to this one, where if we get in super close-ups, the tonal range within the sheet is actually going to be far more suited to this process. Enough talk. I've got some sheets I'm very happy with. This is a process that I'm very excited about, and I will definitely be doing this again. The great thing, and I love Nate's Zebra dry plate tintypes. I think they're great. And do you know what? After I'd finished my second pack of them, I was starting to think about projects that I could do with this, and I could really, you know, get into this. The cost is a factor. You know, Nate's doing what he can, I'm sure, to keep the cost down as far as possible. But those dry plate tintypes are about £5, $5 per plate. Compare that with 17 pence per sheet. And I can screw this up a lot before it breaks the bank. So this is definitely something I'm going to explore. Another terrific thing about this black and white reversal process is that you're almost always going to be cutting down black and white paper, cheap black and white paper, to do this, which means you can cut it down to whatever size you want. I have a whole plate camera. I also have a half plate camera sitting outside in boxes, which I've never actually used to take photos because you can't get film that size. But this brings everything back into play. I could easily cut down a sheet to whole plate size. So the possibilities are endless. And with it being that much cheaper than pretty much anything else you're going to do, you can just go nuts with it. So the chemicals, obviously I have a test kit, but it looks very similar in quantity to the production kit, which has now been announced. They reckon that you can get 4 to 5 square meters of RC paper, which is basically about 370 4x5 images out of those chemicals. I would guess, based on some of the other kits and the cost of various the chemicals that they're selling, that kit, I don't think I've not seen it on sale anywhere yet, and I've not seen any prices for it, but I would take a punt that it's going to probably cost somewhere in the region of 30 to 40 pounds/dollars for the kit, and you're getting 370 4x5 sheets. So this is potentially the cheapest photography you can do. Certainly the cheapest large format photography, I reckon. That's it for today. You will definitely be seeing more of this on the channel. I already have more plans in place. I'm going to go out and shoot some landscapes with it. I'm going to go out and shoot some street with it. So definitely be seeing this again. So if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Next up on the channel, I've been sent some films by Lomography. So the next thing you see will be me taking out a couple of rolls of Lomography Lady Grey 400 ISO to put that through its paces and see what we think of it. Don't miss it. I'll see you for that one. All right, bye.